Consumed. Westlake Trilogy Book 1 by J.C. Jarrett. Chapter 11. Hell. The cool grass felt so good upon his face. All he wanted to do lay there and enjoy how it felt to be pain-free. The sounds of screams floated into his ears as the smell of smoke assaulted his nostrils, snapping his eyes open. Looking up from the ground, where he had landed after the fiery blast that had thrown him through the large front window, the sight before the warrior stole his breath with horror. The large farmhouse was almost completely engulfed in flames. Fire licked out windows and doors, like great flaming tongues tasting the air. The roof had partially collapsed, with holes now spitting fire into the air, but it was the screams that turned his blood to ice. The screams of pain and terror, the screams of his beloved Elisa. The panicked man jumped to his feet, sprinting for the large water trough no more than 20 feet from his flaming home. Leaping into the water, submerging himself completely, he never even noticed that every wound he had received was now gone, completely healed. Vaulting from the trough, the father, husband, warrior dove bravely headfirst into the window he was blasted out from just minutes before. Peyton had leapt into hell. Everywhere he looked, there was fire. It danced up the walls and played across what was left of the ceiling. The flames rolled across the floor, igniting everything they touched. Screams of pain pulled him through the fire and smoke, holding up his arms to fight the heat and brightness of the flames from his face. "Elisa!" he screamed as he moved through the fire, paying no heed to his own safety. The heat was unbearable, and the panicked man could feel his skin blistering as he pushed on. He was not going to give up his search. Finally, he spotted Elisa. She had been blown deeper into the house by the blast from the magical fire trap. She slapped at flames on her right arm as both her legs laid trapped under pieces of the fallen roof. Large portion of her hair was gone, and her face showed the redness and blisters of burns. Her left arm seemed untouched by the blaze, as she used it to fight the fire that had become climbing its way up her long dress. Peyton leapt to her. Pushing her to the floor, he used his own body to smother the flames upon her. She screamed in surprise and pain. The look in her eyes was one of pure horror as he grabbed her, until she saw his face so close to hers. He thought she may have been crying, but the heat destroyed the tears before they had a chance to show. "Elisa?" The worried husband screamed over the roar of the flames as he lifted the debris, freeing her legs, but finding a jagged white bone sticking from the side of her right leg, pouring blood onto her dress. He never hesitated, lifting her up in his arms. Pieces of his clothing were ablaze. He could feel his skin sizzling. Peyton gritted his teeth in pain. He knew they couldn't stay much longer. The house wouldn't last, and neither would they. Turning, carrying his precious bundle, he ran for the nearest exit. The window he had come in through showed itself through the flames, when a loud cracking noise took his attention to what was left of the roof. "Just 10 more steps and we are out," was all he could think, as the huge wooden beam collapsed from the burning ceiling. The beam hit with the force of a giant's club, causing pain to shoot up his back for the second time today, pinning them to the flaming floor. Peyton felt as if the beam was cutting him in two. He could feel the bones of his broken back grating together as he tried in vain to push himself up. The weight of the heavy beam pressed the couple together, trapped within a fiery tomb. Together, the two lay under the beam, as the fire licked at their skin. Elisa managed to turn her head toward him. Her face was badly burnt, but the woman was still beautiful. Peyton felt tears began to form in his eyes, but the moisture was stolen away by the heat of the flames before they could escape. The man pushed and pushed with all his might, but the beam would not budge a single inch. All he managed to do was cause himself horrible pain. "I'm so sore," he started, but his words were stopped by her single word. "No." Her voice rang out calm and clear. She knew that they had escaped their last time, that death had finally come for them. "No, I can save you. The panicked man screamed as he pushed down upon the scorching hot floor. The sound of neither the flesh of his hands sizzling against the hot wood, nor the feeling of the broken bones of his back grating together stopped his fight for her survival. Elisa's hand came up lightly, touching the side of her husband's face. "It is over, my love. You have done all you can and more. I love you. I always have, and always will," she said, seeing the same calm come over him that had her. She knew the flames were upon them, but she felt not a single tinge of pain, as if some greater power had taken pity upon her. Peyton was not as lucky as she. He could feel nothing from the waist down due to his shattered spine, but his upper body was a different story. He felt every lick of flame, every ounce of heat that the fire could give off. The pain was pure agony, but as long as he stared into Elisa's beautiful emerald green eyes and saw the strength she showed, he knew that he could bear it. "You and Jana are the greatest treasures a man could ever want. I love you." As the words exited his mouth, he saw a smile spread across her face. Their heads close together, their lips met in a gentle kiss. "I'm sorry," he whispered as the rest of the roof gave a mighty crack, giving way, casting their world into flames and darkness. A cool breeze blew through his hair as the soft lips touched his in a passionate kiss. Opening his eyes, he looked straight into the beautiful green eyes of Elisa. She took his hand as he looked about at their surroundings. They stood by the large oak tree at the top of a long, sloping hill of soft grass. Peyton knew the place well. It was the spot that he and Elisa had napped while Jana had run through attack routines. "How did we get here?" he asked, confused. The last he remembered, they had been buried under the collapsing roof. "Shh. Don't worry about that right now. We are here, and do not have much time." Peyton watched her and could tell she knew more. Then she said that she was holding back. "Where is Jana?" he asked, looking out where he remembered her playing the other day. "She is not here, so that is a good thing. She is safe." The mother responded with an air of mystery. Peyton felt she had been here longer than him and had been given or learned information that she was unable to share. Lightheadedness suddenly took him, as the smell of acrid smoke filled his nose. He looked down at himself, and then to Elisa. He saw no sign of any wound or burn, nothing of the ordeal they had just endured. Realization slammed into his mind with the force of Nub-Nub's hammer. "Are we dead?" the warrior asked, his voice having a puzzled tone. "Not we, my love. Not we." Peyton was puzzled even more by her response. The lightheadedness began to worsen, and his body ached all over. The ache slowly began to escalate to a burning pain, not as if he was on fire. He knew what that felt like, but more like an inflamed itch. Elisa stepped forward, lightly wrapping her arms about him. Reaching up to run his fingers through her red gold hair, he saw in amazement that he could now see through his hand and arm. "What is happening to me?" he whispered in her ear as he held her as tight as he could. "Do not be afraid. Just enjoy the moment that was given to us. Before you go." Her voice seemed distant or otherworldly now to him. "I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here with you," he said, panic in his voice, for now his legs had begun to vanish before his eyes. "You must, my love. You have no choice," she said as tears began to roll down her alabaster cheeks. "No, I'm not going. I'm not." But he knew he was, and there was no stopping it. His body was now almost completely transparent. He ached all over, and his head throbbed with every beat of his heart. He reached up and placed a nearly gone hand upon Elisa's cheek. Her skin looked no different, but it felt strange, like it was impossibly dry and crisp. Bending his head, he gently kissed her lips, feeling the same dryness, and something else hard and grooved, like her teeth was exposed past her lips. I don't want to go. I love you and want to stay here with you for eternity. I know, darling, and I want the same. But you have to. There is more that you need to do. Closing her eyes, tears slowly fell from her cheeks. I will be right here waiting for you. I love you. Sudden jolts of pain racked the warrior's body. His arms and legs was now completely gone, and his torso was fading fast. He knew it was time. No, 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 he screamed as he tried to force himself to stay here with her. No. His voice cut through the still night air as pain tore through his body. But he paid it no heed. Peyton laid his body coated in ash and remnants of his burnt clothing. His body showed no sign of there ever being any wound in it, his skin almost looking like it was scrubbed clean. He shivered in the cool air as his tears fell in torrents onto the ash and cinders of his life. The broken man called out over and over, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. As he lay clutching in his arms a blackened shell of person, the charred, unrecognizable remains of his beloved Elisa. To be continued in Ash's Book 2 of the Westlake Trilogy. I want to thank you for listening to my tale. This was a labor of love and something I never thought I would have ever completed. I also want to thank Peyton and Elisa for allowing me to tell their story. They have forever changed my life. J.C. Jarrett.